Dante followed him. His features were no longer contracted, and now wore their usual expression. But there was that in his whole appearance that bespoke of one who had come to a fixed and desperate resolve. Faria bent on him his penetrating eye. "I regret now," said he, "having helped you in your late inquiries, or having given you the information that I did." "Why so?" inquired Dante. "Because it has instilled a new passion in your heart, that of vengeance." Dante smiled. "Let us talk of something else," said he. Again the abbé looked at him, then mournfully shook his head, but in accordance with Dante's request, he began to speak of other matters. The elder prisoner was one of those persons whose conversation, like that of all who have experienced many trials, contained many useful and important hints, as well as sound information, but it was never egotistical, for the unfortunate man never alluded to his own sorrows. Dante listened with admiring attention to all he said. Some of his remarks corresponded with what he already knew, or applied to the sort of knowledge his nautical life had enabled him to acquire. A part of the good abbé's words, however, were wholly incomprehensible to him. But like the aurora which guides the navigator in the northern latitudes, opened new vistas to the inquiring mind of the listener, and gave fantastic glimpses of new horizons, enabling him justly to estimate the delight an intellectual mind would have in following one so richly gifted as Faria along the heights of truth, where he was so much at home. "You must teach me a small part of what you know," said Dante, "if only to prevent your growing weary of me. I can well believe that so learned a person as yourself would prefer absolute solitude to being tormented with the company of one as ignorant and as uninformed as myself. If you'll only agree to my request, I promise you never to mention another word about escaping." The abbé smiled. "Okay, I'm gotta be honest. Last episode, when I asked whether or not he would share his solemn oath with the abbé, I kind of thought we would have. I kind of thought that's where he was going. Is this the first sign of him, like, acknowledging what naivete is and trusting another, like the abbé has said? Faria previously stated, don't be so well, he didn't say this explicitly, but the lesson was you can't trust everyone. And so he makes the solemn oath to himself in the last episode. And here, the abbé is like, yeah, I'm sorry I said all that stuff because I can tell it's had an effect on you. And you got that glint in your eye like you're going to go cause some trouble. Vengeance is, I smell the stank of vengeance on your breath. And Dante, surprisingly, says, hey, I don't want to talk about it. Let's change the subject. Let's change topics. Teach me, tell me some stuff. I want to learn. I want to be smart. If not for my sake, for yours, because I would imagine you're going to get so fucking bored with me if I can't keep up with your conversation. So I'm here. I want to know. I did not expect that. I gotta be honest. That was a true surprise to me. But what's more is that we, the readers, don't know what the solemn oath is. The Faria, the abbé, just says, hey, I can see vengeance is in your eyes. But we don't get confirmation from Dante that that's what it is. Do you think we'll have a internal moment with Dante after this that lets us in on what his plan really is? I'm really thrown through a loop here. I also have to say, I've seen enough 80s movies at this time in my life to know when to sense a coming montage, a training montage. There's a montage coming around the corner. I can feel it. He's asking Faria to teach him. This is the moment that Rocky and Apollo are running up and down the beach. It's coming here. We gotta see how Faria is gonna teach Dante languages and reading and books and ideas, philosophy, painters, politics, everything that Faria knows. Teaching him how to make these implements so that Dante can write his own little books over in his own cell. We're gonna have a training montage. I know it. I can feel it in my bones. Maybe quid pro quo, Dante will teach Faria how to hold his breath underwater for longer, or some other physical feat that he picked up while being on the seas. Well, I don't have much to add to any of this except that I'm just really flabbergasted with where we are. Who knew after 200 episodes, the 201st would just inject a whole new surprise into where we're going from here. So you know where to join me as we continue through Chapter 17. I will see you all right here tomorrow. Okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.